Good morning, students. So, today we are going to see the chapter that is respect and obedience. So, respect and obedience, the chapter number 5, we are going to start this chapter. So, let's start this chapter. In this chapter, we are going to talk about a incident of Calcutta University. Okay, Kolkata University. Once here, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, and he is the Vice Chancellor of the Calcutta University. Once in a conversation with Lord Curzon, okay, Sir Mukherjee revealed that he had never been to England. Okay, he has expressed that he has never been to England there. So, that's unfortunate, said Lord Curzon. The reply from the Lord Curzon was that this is a very unfortunate that you have never been to England. How come you did not make it England so far? He has asked him. He has asked Sir Mukherjee that how he has not made it to England yet. So Mukherjee sir replied, "My mother never liked the idea of my going abroad." He has told him the reason that his mother, Mukherjee sir's mother, was not liking the idea of Ashutosh Mukherjee's going to England or abroad. Go tell your mother the Viceroy of India has ordered you to go to England. Lord Curzon has replied or asked, ordered the Sir Mukherjee that he must tell his mother that the Viceroy of India has given him the order in order to visit the England. So Sir Mukherjee did not like that what Curzon said. Okay, what Lord Curzon has said out here. Sir, for me, he has replied, sir, for me, my mother's order is a far higher order. Okay. Hearing this, Lord Curzon was stunned, but he appreciated the Indian respect for his parent. So here, a person who is in such a big position, that is, he is the Vice Chancellor of the Calcutta University, one of the biggest university of its own time, and he has replied here that he will not deny the order of his mother. It shows how much respect he is having about his parents. And Lord Curzon was very much inspired, or he has appreciated this particular feeling of his work, that is employee, okay, that is Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee. So here this shows that the Indian culture of respecting their parents, respecting their elders is having how much difference with that of the other civilizations in the world. Respect and obedience is parent is a distinct feature of Indian civilization. Yes, it has been a major part of the Indian civilization that the respect which has been provided by the parents to the parents or to the elders in the Indian culture here. Okay, from very old time we can see that from very tender age we realize the need to obey. Okay, then try to make you as carefree as possible. For this they are ever ready to undergo any pain and suffering. Okay, to maintain this respect, to maintain this obedience, the Indians are ever ready to undergo any kind of pains or suffering here. They readily give up certain rightful comforts and pleasures so that you may have them. They are always keen to meet your needs. Your mother is one who deserves your respect and love the most, for it is her tender and motherly care. Okay, for it is her tender care and motherly care that you are her everything, your life itself, and she may have every hungry herself, but she took every care to feed you, na? Okay, the suffering she takes in order to feed you, the suffering she takes in order to raise you. Okay, and that she did it with pleasure. She does not complain it for for nurturing you, for making you grow big, for giving you meals and all these things. She does not ask you anything. Okay, so she did all this thing with pleasure. Motherhood means sacrifice at every step. She is a goddess, worth of worship. It is said that since God cannot be everywhere, so He has created mother. Okay, so this is the fact that as the God cannot be everywhere, so He has created mothers who will fulfill the place of the God there. Okay. Next, your father is only person besides your mother who is concerned about your comfort and welfare. He always wants his children excel in everything, to grow in everything, to move forward in everything. Your father will rather suffer themselves than let you suffer. He will take all the sufferings and he will never let you suffer there. They spend sleepless nights when you are sick or injured. They toil nights and day for your sake. They may be momentarily angry with you. They may even punish you, but it is all because they love you and will wish your welfare only. All the punishments, all the scoldings which has been given to you by the parents, it is just for your benefit only. Okay, it is the for the sake of yours only. However, as the children grow up, sometimes parents find it difficult to cope up with all the needs and their demands. Financially deprived parents may not be in a position to buy very costly things for their children, nor can they afford send them to expensive educational institutions. But that does not mean that their parent does not love them. Sometimes children may not understand or accept the situation in a good spirit, so they ask their parents, what have you done for me till now? Imagine the mental state of parents who may have to hear such words. So we must keep this thing in mind that our parents are suffering for us only. They are taking all the sufferings and not even asking us for that particular things. Now listen to what some young people say. Sunil feels he grew up with irrational parents. He says, staying at home is a crazy affair. My mother is a raving maniac. My father is drunk all the time. Nobody knows who runs the house. There is no rule. I can do as I want. No one bothers if I study or not. I think what I need is a good parent who can control me. Richard, who feels just the opposite, says, my case is different. All along, I have been playing daddy's good little boy. I am tired of complying. Now I am going to tell that I am not little Richie anymore. That I have grown up. I have enough of his controlling way. I am really going to tell him one day, you see. So here you can see that two young peoples, one is Sunil and one is Richard, they are expressing their feelings, and here they are just opposite to each other. While Sunil is feeling that a compulsion must be there on him by his parents to control him, to give him right path for the life, to guide him, while Richard is been deprived of this thing. Okay, he has been deprived of this thing. He has just fed up the controlling power which has been shown to him by his parents. Okay, so these are some of the feelings which has been expressed out here of young peoples. Reopen. Okay, now so here the next example is for Rupa, who is tired of being little doll of his parents. I am fed up of playing Mummy Gudiya. She wants me to dress myself as she chooses. I had to be always smiling and pleasing guests and visitors. She doesn't let me be me. I wish I could break free. Sania, who did not approve of such talk, said, how can people talk like that about their parents? I can't even think of such an attitude. My parents would feel troubled if I talked back to them like this. My mother would begin to cry and my father would withdraw and not talk for days. Then I would feel guilty. So I don't say anything to hurt them. I don't like to displease them. Most of the time, the rules and regulations taught by the parents give life enriching experience to their children. These rules and regulations reveals to the children that their parents have power over them. Truly, our parents have such an authority bestowed on them. So they have to be respected and obeyed, because they have made us to live here. They have let us to survive here. They have helped us to survive here. So um, it is our responsibility in order to obey them. However, it may be noticed that sometimes this parents' power is ill used or misused against children. Such children grow up unbalanced person with hurt feelings and wrong values. They could become rebellious also. Children mostly learn from what parents do than what they say. Parents as well as children have equal roles to play in maintaining peace and harmony in the family. So it is very necessary that each member obeys certain rules, laws and customs. But trouble arises when children are made to obey blindly without seeing the reason for doing it or not doing something. Parents use various techniques to make their children obey. Sometimes they are compelled to obey with such hard directions: do as I say, or do not any question. Okay, yes, just obey. Children easily adopt to threat and feeling here that their parents are overcoming him, they are suppressing their feelings, they are suppressing their needs. Certain techniques of rewards and punishments also may be used effectively to make children obey. But in general, children learn to obey without questioning. So, parents are the primary educators of their children. Their hard-earned experience must be acknowledged and respected out there. They are the embodiment of the God. You must never show disrespect or disobedience to them. Perform all your duties to your parents with reverence. When you reach the stage in your life, you too will be entitled respect and obedience from your children. So as you are giving, you will be receiving out there. Your practice of the virtues of respect and obedience get reinforced in the school. There the teachers take the place of your parents. If your parents is your first teacher, your teacher is your second parent. In the school too, the child compiles and conforms to the new ways of thinking and doing without questioning. There is a natural taking over the parent's authority by the teacher. Your teacher becomes your real guide. Your teacher is your guru. In Sanskrit, guru means guru can be divided into two parts, gu and ru, where gu means darkness and ru means remover. So teacher is the darkness remover. Okay, your teacher is one who removes the darkness of the ignorance and gives us the light of knowledge. In ancient times, the teaching of gurus were regarded as the divine incarnation and knowledge was considered as the sacred part of your life. Teachers therefore deserve the highest respect and strict obedience. But today you may say that you can learn many things without a teacher through books, cassettes, etc. However, the truth is that your teacher plays a very great important enabling role in your life. So you must always remember your teacher with gratitude and reverence. Beside your parents, teachers, there are other authorities whom we must obey and respect. In any form of the society or community, there is a kind of power, authority that has to be respected. It may be in the form of government officials, a political leader, a religious head, or a group leader. In the context of use of any such power, obedience is the most natural response. That is why people obey political and other nominal or influential authorities, whether they are directive or orders are ethical or not. Okay, so if you follow your memory to go back in the time, you will realize that how you felt compelled to obey on various occasions some or other authorities figures. At home it was your father or mother, or even your elder brother or sister. In the school it was your teacher, in the street it was the police, elsewhere it will be some other person who has powers. It all started with your parents at home. The way you obey or disobey authority will depend on you at in your childhood. Responded to your parents' behavior pattern to attempt the command, respect, and to make you obey. They must have used certain typical behaviors pattern to encourage to obey them. And you in turn must have selected or adopted of this style encouraged by the authority figure to at your parents. The style they adopted and expressed verbally or non-verbally must be from other peace. Okay, try hard, be perfect, hurry up, please me, be strong, may be your temperament, but did not give to any of the above styles of parental order. You might have sent I won't or no to other orders to obey. You might have even refused to cooperate by throwing temper tantrums. Still other among you might have delayed obeying by saying, "I will do it later." This delay tactics must have then made you a postponing or procrastinating type of person. You are now mature enough to understand your behavior pattern with regards to obedience and respect to authority. Any training received in blind obedience must be rectified. Often we see that blind obedience become an easy tool against taking personal responsibility for one's action. Many people commit terrible crimes in the name of obedience. How do we react to unjust political or social system managed by or autocratic, hard-hearted or unjust authority? Do we have a reason and the encourage to deny such unjust order of power? Mahatma Gandhi has demonstrated the power of creative disobedience as a weapon. However, disobedience as a strategy may be adopted only to bring awareness about the ill effects of blind obedience to any unjust authority. Otherwise, obedience and respect to authority must be the order of the day. Make it a joyful experiment. So, respect and obey your parents and teacher always, because it is very necessary to obey them. So, for today, I am ending the class here only. We will be providing you the PDF notes for this chapter. Thank you.